Hey everyone, today I'm just going to update you on the status of my Z4 and possibly some upcoming jobs I may have. I initially did want to vent about a job that I just did, which is the belt tensioner, but that was like a month ago, so I kind of got over it. And I just got this back from the shop for an inspection. So let me go over all of that with you. So at first, I was here about a month ago just checking on the status of my car for some things because I took it to a road trip over the summer and I was driving on these nice, curvy, mountainous roads along the Pacific Coast Highway. And in the middle of my drive, I noticed that I got the yellow coolant light. So immediately I just backed off and just like pulled over, turned off my car. The light only lasted like a minute and it didn't come back when I turned it back on, but it kind of just put me on edge because there's no cell phone signal out there, and it kind of just killed my drive because I didn't want to get stranded. Yeah, so I was just here just checking the coolant level and then going to check the oil leak that had in the plug just to see how it was. And I did clean that up because there was oil in there. But before that, obviously before all of that, you have to take this cover off. And as per usual, as being my clumsy self, I dropped one of these bolts down into the crack. And that's what led me to do the belt tensioner job. I had the parts here for quite a while, since I think spring 2025. And I've kind of been putting it off, but just dropping that bolt down onto the plastic undercover uh, made me do that job. And you're wondering why that made me do that job? Because the belt is something I have been looking to do for quite some time. And I thought it would have been smart of me to do the job under the car because let me turn on the flashlight. Yeah, because if you look down under there, it seems like there's a lot of space and you can see all like the belt points down there. Sorry, it's a little dark in the garage. But I thought I just take this off and I can work from the bottom to put all the belts and stuff in place. And that's what I tried to do. And this is what I was talking about with the venting about my frustrations doing that job. It was quite harder than I thought to do it down there, just because I drove the car onto ramps, but even then, crawling underneath, it was just so tight for me fitting under there, and it's just pushing on my chest, and it's pretty tight squeeze. And even then, it's just a little bit hard to move my arms under there, and even it's pretty hard to see where the screws are for the tensioner. And the main reason why I wanted to do it down there, because I was pretty avoidant on removing this and removing the fan because I didn't really know how to do it. But after a couple hours, I caved in and then took this off and took off the fan and did the brake tensioner job. It turned out to be pretty simple, and I'll show you in a future tutorial. And I'm sorry that some things may not be shown accurately because I took the tensioner off with the fan still on. So I kind of took it out from the side here with just squeezing my arm through there. So through the tutorial, I'm going to tell you to take this off, and then you can just easily remove it from here, instead of just struggle there. So it's not going to be represented accurately in the video, but the way I edited it, it should be in the correct order to make it easy for you. So sorry about that, and I hope it's still useful. Not that difficult of a job. It was just difficult for me doing it the way I initially thought I would wanted to do it. And it's a little difficult to do a lot of these dirty like engine jobs while filming and getting the correct angles. So sorry about that. And it's especially more difficult to get good angles on jobs you only can do once, and you can't really take it apart and then put it back in. So yeah, um, just stay tuned for that. And then after I finished that, I took the car to the mechanic because I've been wanting to for a while, just to see the overall health of my car, and had it inspected by him. And there are several things that he found, some things I already knew. Like, for instance, I already knew I had an oil pan gasket leak, and he reminded me of that, or I guess I told him and he confirmed it. But also, under there, he found that the oil level sensor had a leak around it. He thinks it is coming through the actual sensor body itself, because it doesn't seem to be like coming from around the outer side, the seal. So he thinks it's coming through like the edge of the crack. Um, that's something I think I maybe want to investigate. Um, but that's quite annoying since I probably have to change the oil again after I just changed it with him. Because the sensor is pretty expensive, or I can just test if it's just the gasket for the sensor. But like I said, that's be pretty annoying just to do another oil change after I just paid to get it changed. Um, so I think in the future, not today, or not even in this video, I'm gonna come back and probably just clean up the sensor area and just try to eyeball and see where the leak is really coming from. Um, Another thing he mentioned was my brake rotors or discs need to be replaced because it's not really wearing so evenly. Um, I don't really have a good eye for that, so if you guys um, do or understand that, please let me know. Let me go show you the back. Yeah, so here's the back. Let me know what you guys think about that. So one major thing that he found that was new was he took out the spark plugs, and he found on the first one and the sixth one that there seems to be oil on it on one side. He even took a camera and put it down there to show that it is on, I think, one side of the cylinder. So he thinks from his experience that the valve cover needs to be replaced because oil is getting in with the air or something like that. Sorry, it's hard for me to describe. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, so there's that. I need a new battery, which were already revealed in a past vlog, and I need to probably do the transmission fluid and differential fluid. Let me know if you guys have done that transmission service before, if you need to get the mechatronics sleeves, or you guys just get the pan and new fluid with that. So yeah, after him showing me all that stuff and giving me all the prices and stuff, yeah, it was quite overwhelming, since you'll probably see by now that I have another vlog talking about how I just had a coolant leak in the Mini, and that one was quite expensive. I think 2,600, something like that. Yeah, the oil pan job is going to be a little bit more expensive than that. Just, I think, 2,800. Quite expensive, and that includes new engine mounts and alignment. Since I think you go underneath and you take the subframe apart and something like that, according to what I've seen in another video on YouTube, and that is just something I'm not going to tackle. And I think since I have all these repairs that I need to do all stacked up and so expensive, I actually think I'm going to do the valve cover replacement myself. So that would be like with the gaskets and all that. So you guys can look forward to a video on that. Something I've always been scared to do because obviously since I dropped the bolt down here a couple of times, I don't really trust myself to not drop something in the engine. So that's what I've always been scared of. But I think I need to find ways to save some money with all these things I need to do with the car. Yeah, so wish me luck with that. And not to mention that I talked about in the beginning that the sensor for the eccentric shaft, I believe that's what it's called, is leaking through. I don't think it's the gasket from all the times I've been cleaning it. So I will be replacing that. So that job in itself is just expensive. The valve cover and the sensor, just parts alone. So it's kind of just saving on labor, but yeah, a lot to do. And it's something my mechanic didn't really push me to do. He's very, very honest guy and not very pushy because he knows that I don't really drive this car. So he said, it doesn't really make sense for me to just do it all right away. You can just work on it over time. Yeah, so a lot to do. Quite overwhelming, quite annoying, but yeah, that's something you guys can look forward to me doing over time. And knowing me, it could be a while until I probably get to these jobs and for you guys to see a video. So yeah. And also something I remembered, I also need to, or you recommended to replace these hoses down here going from, I think, the back of the valve cover. Seems a little difficult to reach, but I'm gonna try it without removing this intake manifold here. And look forward to the belt tensioner replacement on the N52. And also related, I will piece out the video to just remove the fan. And don't know when I'll get to this, but sometime in the future. Just like it took a while for me to finish all the trim in the car. If you followed along years ago, I was taking things out piece by piece, and it probably took me a year to finish the whole thing. The oil pan is something I won't do because I don't really feel comfortable or have the engine support beam thing to do it, or I just don't really feel comfortable. I have the tools to do that, and I really don't like getting under this car since it's so low. I'm kind of paranoid and it kind of scares me. Now after working on like the Volkswagen or Mini, it's pretty nice to actually crawl under a car and fit without even having to lift it or anything. So yeah, that's pretty nice. The brakes, that's something on a lower priority also. It's not something that needs immediate attention. It doesn't really cause any vibration yet, but brakes are something I definitely do wanted to do just to get some fun discs like the Hawk ones, which are drilled and slotted. And I know people don't really get drilled ones for performance, but I don't really do that kind of hardcore tracking anymore. And I definitely want to get rid of these EBC yellow ones because there's a lot of dust on these. Braking performance, I'm not so sure because I don't really, like I said, I don't drive at the high limits anymore. Yeah, the performance it seems pretty good on the street. It feels just like OEM. So yeah, I just wanted to update you on the health of my car and upcoming projects with that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.